measuring also the screw length? What are,
He's usually got
like that tamp thing?
You know, so what I do,
there's a- oh, okay.
I do a measurement off the CT. So
Oh.
I'll give you, like it's usually almost bang on.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I'll give you so you can preload everything.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
before you even start the case, and then if I have to change it, which is rare, then, yeah, they can pick it up.
Okay.
Oh,
So that's what I was saying, just grab 2 to 4 extra extensions. He's gonna tell you it's 7x50s or whatever, you're gonna have them loaded, and then if he changes his mind, interrupt, we're not exchanging, we're just
Sure.
progressing.
Okay.
Okay, so second one is in now, okay? Again, he has to change the ratchet, puts his hand on here, pulls this out. Okay, so now we have our 2 extensions. For Alex to know, is these arrows, they face cranially or do you come caudally now? What are you doing? Doesn't matter.
Whatever is easier.
Okay, so basically, their one window is bigger than the other window. And that is designed for our rod introduction stuff. So basically, when you're inserting the rod, this nests together, right? And
the larger side.
in the larger
Long-
side, which is
taller
why there's
size.
an arrow,
Oh,
right?
okay,
That
yeah.
points to the larger side. So Alex
Yeah.
will look at that, and if he's coming from the top, he'll line up the arrow, so it's at the top. The bottom one doesn't matter because it just matters whichever one this is going to rest in. Right? So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this.
Can you
Right
see
now.
the
so once you're
arrows
off
that you're
the-
talking about?
The screwdriver's out of there, the screw is not locked out.
The screw's in bone, but the head,
It's not
the
in
head
fixed
fully,
position, right? Okay.
it's fully
The clamps
polyaxial,
are
so
supposed to be tight, right?
Right.
That's why it's so important they have to be tight, because if they pull
Well,
off.
hop off
that's a
and
pain.
So like, although Alex can't see what's going on here, if these extensions are like ones, that, you know, they kind of give you an idea of what the rod's going to be like. If it's going to be straight, if it's going to be curved, if it's going to be, so it's giving you an indication of what's going on underneath
Okay.
right there,
Yeah.
like for him. So at this point, we're ready for our, let's say we got 4 in, we're ready for our rod. This is our little flag stick here. So he puts this in, this goes down to the screw heads, and then he measures his rod length off of here, 45, 50, let's say, whatever, right? Okay. So then we're ready for rod introduction. This is also on the cheat sheet. So just real quick, cheat sheet shows putting together the cannulated probe. It shows how to put together the castle nut. It shows how to load the screw, right? Step by step. And now we're on to this part, which is loading the rod. Okay, so there's your little measuring stick section that we talked about. Okay, and then this is specifically showing us how we're gonna load the rods into the rod holder. So this is our rod holder right here. There's 2 of them in the set. If you look at your, so that's what the pan looks like. This little screw rack right here lifts up, okay, and that's already in here. So the first thing you're gonna do is grab your rod holder. You're gonna take your little locking screw. You're gonna put it in. Yeah, you're welcome to do this as we go along over there. I'm just trying to keep the demo stuff. Okay, so this goes in. Now your rod. So if you're loading those over there, I'll give you a couple rods to try loading. Just make sure those come back to me. So if you look at your rod has a little notch. So one end of it is smooth, right? That's the end that's going through the tissue. The other end engages with the rod holder, and that end has a little notch. Okay, you can see this one's facing the ceiling. The notch is facing the ceiling or up right now. You can see that little notch there. Okay, right? So the notch comes into the hole, okay, and the notch faces the green handle. I can't, if the notch is facing the floor, I can't get this to seat in here properly. Okay, if I turn it around and the notch faces the green handle, it mates in there, no problem. So this part is like kind of where you need your third hand. So this little screwdriver, which you guys have already put together, which is great, is a torque limiting screwdriver, which means it clicks. Okay. So basically, this is your third hand here. So how I do it again is I'm like an otter, I use my stomach for everything. So I basically put the green handle on my stomach, I hold these 2 pieces together, like that. And then once it's engaged, you can kind of just hold it like this, however you want. I could have probably spun it in a little better. So now you're going to turn this until click, click, click. Yeah, there's a click, 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 click.
Oh.
Just one's fine. You're OCD like me, or, you know, I don't know. One is fine, but 2, 3, then you know you did it. So,
Okay.
okay, so now, and why do you think we're doing that? Why do you think we do it till it clicks?
Then you know it's working.
Yeah, because we don't want to lose it, like, we don't want to lose a screw or a rod in here, because then we're opening everything, right? So, this is how rod introduction works to the towers, okay? Doesn't matter how long. I've seen 6 or 7 level MIS cases where the rod's like this long, and they like put it in and rotate it. But what you do is it comes up like this, okay? And then the rod goes down the extension with the large window, okay? This is just for you guys don't need to know this. This is just so you know what he's doing. He goes down until he touches the screw head, and then he's going to angle it up. And there we go, okay? So basically now, in order for me to see if it's in there, I can take this, and I can't turn it anymore because the screw's going through it. I can take an instrument of any kind really and put it in here, and then like you know what I mean? Like I'm a different instrument. I would put something longer in, but I could go like this, and then I can see that, right? Like I can feel and see that. So basically the way he does that is he just rotates that, and he knows he's in. Okay, so now we got our rod in. Now we need to lock our rod with locking caps. I'm just going to show you one thing. This is what the normal one looks like. Okay, I'm just going to show this to them, even though you're not using it. This is the locking cap. Okay,
Yeah.
Screwdriver. Screwdriver goes in and puts the caps in. Okay.
Can you lock them?
Yeah, so this is, if you watch this has a split in it, and when I do this, it splays it open. So but basically you would put it into a cap loose, and then when I tighten this, sticks to the sides. Okay?
Right.
He's not using it, he's moved on to this stuff. So
You this one.
yes.
Just because
For the
even
cap
though
screw.
I could use that,
Yeah.
and sometimes.
Just a regular?
I
Yeah,
can't
just
use that,
regular.
But this one I can use all the time, so I might as well just use this one.
So basically, these are designed to put the cap in when you don't have to do much reduction. So see that black line?
Yeah.
That represents the cap. If I go like this, that means that I need to reduce about 1 centimeter before the cap's in place, and I can actually tighten it in. So by hand, you can only just push with this, and it's really hard to reduce. This is a reducer, so he uses it for everything. I'll show you how it works. So here's a picture of it. Good, okay. So this is a picture of it being used here. So cap driver. This is a cap driver. Okay. This little threaded piece right here looks like this. So the threads just go on like this. Click. Okay. Cap on. Okay. Step 1. Hold up.
Yeah.
Step 2 would be to pass up this. We call this a collar. Collar goes up to Alex. He lines the black lines up, pushes it on, then he locks it with the belt. Now this is stuck to that. If you look on the inside of it, it's threaded. These threads are going to mate with this thread here. Okay? So you now hand this up. This goes in. He can do this by hand, right? Where he just turns this. And then again, the black line represents the cap. So eventually, if it's perfectly lined up, the cap's going to go right down. If he needs a reduction, see how it's stopped. So so to reduce, he takes this black handle. It's just 2 pieces. Comes with 2 pieces. You press the button, slides together. So when I put this on the top, okay, just hold that. The bottom handle, as I turn it, is pushing the rod into place. You see the black thick line? See how it's coming down, coming down. So now it's stopping. So now the cap is in position. Now I just turn this to put the cap in. Okay? Then Alex, surgical technique wise, if he wants to really, like, you can really crank this down, and basically you're pushing the cap into the screw head. So you can have a lot of force on it, and then when he goes to put the cap in, he's just cross-threading the cap in. So surgical technique wise, after he does this, he can go backwards, counterclockwise a turn. It just resets the threads because they're being pushed into the threads, right? So if he goes backwards a turn, it just resets them, and then the cap should go in relatively easy. Okay, so cap goes in. Just make sure I got that in. Yeah. Cap goes in, and then after the cap goes in, he just pulls it all apart. So this just comes out. Of course, that's on there. Sorry, easy peasy, but that's in there now. Okay, so I'll take it off here in a minute. You guys can see it. So first one goes in. Again, if you want, have a little look at how this works. So just attach this to your thing.
Line up.
Yeah, so it pushes on first.
Am I
Should
not lined
once
up the
you
right
see.
way?
So the belt was unlocked.
Oh, I see, okay.
So you want to hand the belt up in the unlock position. You can. It goes on. Belt down.
Gotcha.
Okay. So the reason he's using only this is it works all the time. So rather than you guys like all ready for this, and then he's like, oh, I need the other one. We're just trying to simplify what we can.